Today we're going to talk about a rock group that most of you probably haven't heard of, and their number one hit song that most of you have probably heard of. Now, the rock group that I was mentioning that most people probably haven't heard of, well, they're called the Knack. And this is their first album called Get the Knack. Now, they put out a first album, which was well received. I mean, everybody loved it. And when you hit stardom that quickly, you do really well. But the inside scoop on the song My Sharona, which was their number one hit for that album, and is still a number one hit today because a lot of people love that song. Now, because of copyright laws, I can't play any of their music, which sucks. I don't know how people upload music on YouTube and get away with it. They upload entire songs. Could be because of, they let all the royalties go to the artist or whatever, but I'm not going to take any chances of having any part of this video reduced to nothing or part nothing and have a bunch of blank sound, because that wouldn't be professional. So we'll just leave it the way it is, and we will not play their music. If anybody has advice on how I can play a small clip of, a song that I am introducing or a song that I'm bringing up, because I take care of albums from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I'd surely love to play just a small clip of it to kind of give people an example of what I'm playing. That would be nice, but so far I haven't seen any avenue that I can take to do that without getting dinged by YouTube. So we'll just keep it the way it is for now. But if you have any information, send it to me. I'll put my email down below. It's a Gmail, but it's a good Gmail. And you guys can send that to me and let me know. I would sure appreciate it. Now, the Knack was an American rock band based in Los Angeles that rose to fame with its first single, My Sharona. And then after the single, they put out the album called Get the Knack. And it was an international number one hit in 1979. Now, the Knack was founded in 78 with the original and classic lineup of Doug Fieger, lead vocals, rhythm guitar, Burton Averre, A-V-E-R-R-E, Averre, I guess you would call it. He was the lead guitar and the backing vocals. Prescott Niles, he was the bass, and Bruce Gary was on the drums. It was this lineup that recorded the group's first three albums, and it's spearheaded by the success of My Sharona single. Their first album, Get the Knack, 1979, reached number one on the charts of several countries. However, the next two albums did not do that well, and they were called But the Little Girls Understand, 1980, and Round Trip, 1981. And they were significantly less successful, and since they were faced with diminishing success, the group disbanded in 1982. Now, the band reunited in 86 and released their fourth album, Serious Fun, in 1991 before breaking up again the following year. After a brief reunion in 1994, the Knack reunited again in 1996, recording two more albums called Zoom in 98 and Normal as the Next Guy in 2001. Now, Fieger died in 2010, and that is when National Public Radio, NPR, found the gal that Doug Fieger was singing about in My Sharona, found her and decided to interview her. And at that time, this was in a few months after Doug's death, they found her and did an interview and found out that she was a real estate agent in West Los Angeles. So pretty close to where I was raised, because I was born in Culver City and raised in West Hollywood, and I lived on Genesee. It was either Genesee or North Genesee, but I think it was Genesee, Genessee, 1012 North Genesee, about 3/4 of a block south of Santa Monica. So I'm real familiar with Santa Monica, Hollywood Boulevard, Vine, Sepulveda, all Melrose, all of them places out there. We used to ride around on our bikes as kids all the time. But the singer, Doug Fieger, he had passed away, and NPR interviewed Sharona Alperin. And I want you to hear part of these clips because it explains how she first found out about the song being written about her. And she is also, of course, on the cover. And the big complaint was that this girl was 16 or 17 at the time when he started dating her. Now, their relationship only lasted 4 years. So, after that, they kind of went their separate ways. They did keep in touch for quite a few years. And even up into his death, when he got sick, she went and visited him a lot, which she'll explain in the interview. And she was there before his passing, or just right at his passing. So that was good for him as well. So they did keep a really good relationship. And it says when Doug Fieger was 25 years old, he met 17-year-old Sharona Alperin. Now, I think she was 16. She can't even remember. And I think the report was back in the day was 16. They could be wrong. She could have been a few days shy, or she could have just turned 17. And they say it inspired a 2-month-long run of songwriting, as well as eventually becoming his girlfriend for the next 4 years. Fieger recounted that it was like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat. I fell in love with her instantly, and when that happened, it sparked something that I started writing a lot of songs feverishly in a short amount of time. Fieger and Fieger worked out the structure and melody of the song. Fieger was originally averse to using Alperin's name in the song, but Fieger wanted it to be a direct expression of his feelings, and Fieger ultimately relented. Fieger claimed that My Sharona was written within 15 minutes. Moreover, it was purportedly mixed in an additional 15 minutes after the recording of the song was made in a single take, not including the background vocals, which were added later. And in my future videos, I'm going to tell you the difference, a significant difference, the way people have recorded albums back in the day compared to today. I don't buy new albums. I will buy one under special circumstances, which I did for Terry Clark. She didn't become a country star till the 90s, and they were already on CD. And I wanted to own, she always wanted to have one of her songs put on an album. Well, she ended up putting all of her greatest hits on an album, Terry Clark did. So I did buy, I broke down and bought a new album, but I love the quality of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s albums. And we'll get into more of why that quality is so much higher than it is today. And a lot of people will try and dispute me on this, but I'm telling you, with my ears, it is a fact. And with all the study, and I'll show you all that information when I do that video. Fieger and Alperin were engaged at one point but never married. And in a 2005 interview, Fieger said that they remained great friends. Additionally, she would visit him frequently as Fieger was dying of cancer. And I believe the interview was 2010, so they may have got that date wrong. Alperin went on to have a successful career as a realtor in Los Angeles, which I said earlier was in West Los Angeles. If you get a chance to get this album, get the Knack, get it. Because I believe, and this is my personal opinion, but I honestly believe that his explosive, personal, loving relationship with Sharona gave them the energy and the drive necessary to make such wonderful music. And we're looking at Let Me Out, Your Number or Your Name, Oh Tara, She's So Selfish, Maybe Tonight, Good Girls Don't, My Sharona, which is to this day their number one hit, Heartbeat, Siamese Twins, The Monkey and Me, Lucinda, That's What the Little Girls Do, and the song Frustrated. If you get a chance, and you can find this on Discogs, Discogs, I believe it is. I'll put it on the front of the screen as I'm putting this video up. Go there, put in Get the Knack, get the album, make sure it's in great shape. You don't want to buy a piece of junk or something that's all scratched up. Make sure whoever you're buying it from on Discogs has a high rating, because there's a lot of good people out there, and they will not steer you wrong. They won't send you junk and tell you that it's mint condition. Be very careful of those people out there that do that. And normally, if Discogs find out about it, they'll remove them.
Tell me how you met Doug Fieger and the Knack.
I was introduced by his girlfriend at the time. I was about 16, 17 years old.
Wow.
And
you were in high school.
Yes, and he was 9 years older than me. And within a month or two later, he told me that I'm in love with you. You're my soulmate. You're my other half. We're going to be together one day. And I was madly in love with my boyfriend at the time. And so it took a year for me to leave my boyfriend.
So when did you first hear the song that became so famous?
We weren't together yet, but we were friends. And one day on my lunch break from my clothing store, I went to their rehearsal. And I saw maybe Burton or Doug say, should we play it? Should we play it? All right, let's play it for her. And I sat down, cut to, I'm driving back to the clothing store, and I'm thinking, did I just hear a song with my name in it? Was my name in that song? It was, I just couldn't believe that I heard that.
Eventually the song is released. You are asked to be on the cover of the single, wearing this very sort of tight tank top, these tight jeans, and you become a celebrity as well.
That was like my normal outfit, what I wore all the time, by the way. I guess I didn't look at myself as a celebrity, but people were very excited when they met me. And I remember going on tour and seeing sometimes people dress up, and I'd say, what are you dressed up as? And they would say Sharonas. Not everybody knew that, Sharona was a person, or, they thought maybe it was a thing. I think in Japan they might have thought it was like the male organ. That's what I heard. But it's been great.
Sharona Alperin, you eventually, of course, got married. So did Doug Fieger. And you were with him, I understand, during his final days before he passed away last month. Can you tell me about that?
Well, he died on Valentine's Day. That was very fitting for him. And the day before, February 13th, I went to be with him. I had started to see him a lot in the last few months. And a lot of his idols, people that meant so much to him in the music industry, came to pay their respects to him. And it was really beautiful. And then he died Sunday morning on Valentine's Day.
You get a chance to get the Knack and even get the original The Knack My Sharona single, which they put out first, then they put out the album. That's what you want to do, because this is perfect for anybody's collection. And like I said, I've got probably close to 500 albums, and 99% of my albums are originals from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.